Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship for 2015, and a big warm welcome to the StarCraft 2 area. Good. Glad you've all woken up after a terrific first series by Maru. I think patience has gone now. Bit of a stomp. Hopefully they're not going to all be like that today, because we've got 3 more fantastic games coming your way. Before we get to our next game, though, let's just check with the bracket and show you exactly where we are, because we are deep into the round of 16 right now. Yesterday, of course, we had 4 matches, and all were terrific in their own way. Fantasy coming through against Rain 3-0 yesterday, much to the surprise of many of us here at Katowice. And we also saw, of course, that fantastic Innovation Life game. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you're at home. No, damn, we have. But go and watch the video on demand anyway, because it was a terrific series. You won't be disappointed with all that 5 maps to watch between Innovation and Life. Hopefully we get something like that today. Now, time for our next game. It's our 6th game of the round of 16. We're moving towards the quarterfinals tomorrow, of course. And our next player is very interesting for a number of reasons. Put that down. What an idiot. Oh, no, that was an old thing. Sorry, let's move on. OK, so let's introduce our next 2 players to the stage. First of all, our first player had a terrific record in Pro League at the end of 2014, one of the best, actually, in the entire league. But we haven't really seen him in international tournaments. So, competing in only his 2nd Intel Extreme Masters, playing for CJ Entus, please welcome Bbyong. By contrast, his opponent is well known on these shores. He, of course, came here in 2014 and not only won 1 Premier title on the international road, but made it 2 last year after a fantastically successful year. He's here to try and make it 3 inside 2 years. Please welcome Samsung Galaxy Solar. Okay, let's get some quick thoughts from our panel of experts. Frodan, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Red Eye. Yes, we have Solar versus Bbyong. This match is probably one of the least touted matchups in the round of 16, but at the same time, it's like an opportunity for people to learn more about these players, some of the darker horses that we haven't seen in the competition yet. Oh, Jeff, don't look at me that way.
You did it again.
It's totally intentional as well.
There are actually so many bad name puns we can make this tournament.
Yeah.
Like Fantasy is one that we'll keep bringing up, and of course we're gonna cast Trap later. Like
And Dark plays
And
Maru
Dark,
to Maru.
it's gonna be real bad. I feel like this is going to get exponentially worse over the weekend.
Yeah, it will.
Well, hopefully it picks up from this point on. Let's begin our conversation here about Solar. He's a Zerg player, so we're going to turn immediately to our Zerg expert here in Snoot. You're actually pretty chubby with Solar, right? You said you and him are pretty friendly terms. Actually, he's a Snoot fanboy from what I've heard.
He is.
And he was like trying to poke you a little bit earlier in the morning.
It's actually quite funny. Before Snoot goes, this morning we're all sitting in the hotel lobby, and Solar walks by, and we're like, "Hey, Solar," and like he kind of looks at Apollo, Jeff, me, and he's like, "Hey," and then like he turns to his left, he's like, "Oh, Snoot, hey!" I was like, "Wow, you know, okay, I know my place now." He's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm a fan of Snoot." Like,
He also came over here and asked. He was like looking for someone for something or another. He looked at Rotterdam and said, "In control." Where is ESL manager? I was like, you know, fair enough. All white guys do look the same.
And you said that was even a compliment, right?
I think so. Yeah. Kevin's a super handsome guy, so
I agree.
Solar is
if we're transferable that way, I'm pretty okay with
Trying to bring it back to the conversation.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
so talk to us about Solar.
Very young, only 18 years old. Plays for a Caspa team, but also has very, very good English, and he also interacts with the foreign scene a lot. Plays a lot of online tournaments, and he also talks a lot with foreign Zerg players as well. So Solar is very well known in both Korea and the foreign scene as well.
Is there something about his playstyle that really speaks to you? Because
probably he kind of reminds me of Dark in some ways. Very straight up, very solid. A lot of his builds and transitions I feel make perfect sense. Very good just all across the board with creep spread, injects, macro. There's not really a whole lot of bad things to say about his play, and he's very strong across all the matchups. CVC, very solid, strong macro. CVP, he's one of the few players that can actually make Swarm Host work offensively very well using Swarmhost, Corruptor, Overseer together. It's really cool to watch. But now, of course, it's going to be all about the ZvT, and he's extremely strong against Bio. If Solar, just like Dark, if Solar gets into the 80-plus drone comfort zone, I don't think anyone can stop him. I'm not sure if his engagements... Anyone.
Wow.
I really believe in Solar. I think it's very strong. I think if Solar were to go up against Innovation Omaru, I think it's if he doesn't take too much damage early on, for example.
What is the face he's making right now?
I think it would be really, really close.
Someone get the lemon out of that booth right now.
Not sure, maybe it's just a pregame ritual.
I think these games are going to be way different because of Bbyong's very specific style. Bbyong likes to play mech, and I'm not sure how Solar is going to play against that. But I have seen Solar play against mech before. He is very comfortable with using Swarmhost. So I think Solar is more than prepared for this. If he watched Bbyong's games in the past, I think he has a very good idea about what's about to happen here.
So one of the B's in Bbyong is silent, correct?
Bbyong.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, it's just a hard B. Like the double B signifies that it's a hard B, so it's like Bbyong. It's not
Bbyong.
B, but Bbyong. Or
I like it.
You take a short pause and then Bbyong.
I'm glad this seems like a waste of time, but actually you've saved me because later I'll be like, oh, if Bbyong doesn't, and there'll be so many people online that are like, In Control doesn't even know how to pronounce that.
typical American
Hashtag
ignorance.
But mech in the TVC matchup, we're seeing a little bit more of this. Again, I feel like in the last couple of months, it's lost the novelty of like, oh my God, he's going mech.
Yeah.
He must think he's so much better. It's now, it feels like much more of a viable strategy. Of course,
Sure.
Is it always the deadlock of Swarmhost versus Tank Raven, or can it be something else?
It definitely can be something else. Something we have seen recently, at least in my experience on playing the ladder and watching some tournaments as well, is the Thor Banshee Hellbat combination really coming back into style. Cloak Banshees being used, Mass Thor, and very aggressive timings. Usually off of a 6-gas economy for Terran, so they just go up to 3 base, make a lot of units, and then move across the map. The downside to this, of course, if Zerg makes enough Swarmhost and maybe get some defensive speed banelings, then all of a sudden there's not enough tanks to deal with the Locust. So it's kind of a very one-time aggression type of thing.
You guys are so cool.
Shoutouts to the crowd.
Yeah, Poland
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
showing up. Well, Bbyong had a interesting road. He came through the American qualifiers where actually you faced against him, Snoot, in a pretty tight series on a path here. Just want to bring that up, and that's why he has some insight into the ZvT there.
Absolutely.
Solar, of course, comes from IEM Shenzhen, where he beat some of the best players in the world as well. But that was a long time ago. He defeated Innovation 3-0 before getting stopped by Tasia, barely 3-4. Which again, it's another cool thing. Season 9 stops have had awesome finals almost every single time.
You know, something we mentioned earlier today when we were talking about Maru, we said like, well, Maru is someone you know, but only if you're a diehard. And I was like, well, that's not true because he won a couple of big tournaments. But I think Bbyong is truly one of these guys that, like, if you're a diehard Pro League fanatic and you stay up late every night if you live in the US or wake up early in Europe, like, then you know him. Otherwise, I can imagine, if you just watch the mainstream tournaments, like, I don't really know this guy, CJ Entes. I may have heard of him once or twice. And, it's funny because sometimes you get to know a new player. Like, we're always excited when we see new players. And when I went to the Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo in 2014, that was the first time ever that he went to... We should probably talk about the map pool. I can save my story for later. The map is more important.
Oh my God, you were just getting to the good point.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Vani Research Station, a map that usually a lot of Zerg players like to play against Terran on, is Bbyong's first pick. Deadwing, of course, Solar's second pick. So Solar, all about the macro game. Catalina, good map for Terran. Right. Inferno Pools being Solar's pick. This really surprises me. Inferno Pools being chosen over Overgrowth. That's really surprising for me as a Zerg. But it could mean that Solar is comfortable with the idea of horizontal positions.
Well, even talking about the vetoes, why, Snoot, would you, if you're Solar, take out Secret Springs? What about that map is not good for
Mech,
ZvT?
like one attack path, I guess?
It's very limited in terms of attack paths, and it's not a very comfortable... it's not very easy for Zerg to secure the third base.
Okay.
Yeah, and it makes sense on Bbyong's point of view. Expedition Lost is one of Zerg's best maps in this pool.
One of the best maps for counterattacks, and that's if he does play mech, that's precisely what he wants to avoid.
So it looks like they both, of that 7 map pool, then they both got what they wanted, which is kind of nice about this system. I remember this back in even MLG days. If you have the one veto system, it's like, well, there's going to be a map you don't want to play, get it out of there, and then the rest are varying degrees of okay for you, I guess.
Well, I was back in the day when the map pool was a dream pool, essentially, back way yonder. We've grown up a lot here in StarCraft 2 in terms of the maps and the players, and we're getting ready for our next match. There's a lot of growing up for Bbyong and Solar. Are they ready to take the next step in their journey here in the World Championships? We'll find out with our next casters as we get ready for Bbyong versus Solar.
Hey guys, Bbyong versus Solar Apollo. Let's talk about it a little bit before we get into the game. It is going to get underway very, very shortly. Bbyong, as mentioned several times by the analysts and people off stage as well, a mech-favored player, tends to favor mech, especially with game number 1 being on Vani. No, it's almost certainly going to be mech versus Swarmos.
That's how he'll set the pace of the series by this first map.
And he is sort of a bit of an enigma personality-wise, but not an enigma results-wise. He's been an incredibly powerful... well, I mean, he's equal second with CJ Entis's players. He's only behind Hero, of course, but being second in a pro team, Kessa team, with the results that he's been having, pretty amazing, and Solar as well, been pretty amazing. Let's introduce him right now before we talk about it a little bit more. From Samsung Galaxy Khan, this is Solar.
Like Snoot, one of my favorite Zerg players. Absolutely. Love this guy.
A lot of people here do. But we have to show love to this guy as well. From CJ Entis, this is Bbyong.
And you're very right. Like Rotterdam said, Bbyong is one of CJ's best players. He's their second, pretty much the second best player on CJ Entis, I would say. He's got a lot of wins. I think he's got 6 wins in Pro League, which is very, very high considering the top place is about 9, I think. So he's only a couple of wins behind that. He performs very, very well. This is only his second international tournament. His first one being in the Intel Extreme Masters, Sao Paulo, quite a while back now in Season 8. But this is his second chance to really hit the international scene hard. As they said on the desk, if you watch Pro League and you watch it every morning, you know very well who Bbyong is. But if you don't, then you don't know him as well. And this is his opportunity to show you exactly who he is.
Absolutely right. And Solar's looking to turn some heads as well. He's been on the main stage here in Europe before. He's a lovable guy. He's got a lot of friends out there in the crowd. I'm sure a lot of people here, especially Zerg fans, as we have been siphoning a couple as the days go through, are going to want to see Solar go through here. You can see that he is dropping the hatch first, as tend to do on this map.
Yeah, just completely standard openings from both here. You do often see the Reaper expansion more so than the Command Center first here, but pretty basic openings by both. One thing to note, though, Solar in 2014 was one of the best Zerg players. One of the best. He was considered, in Zerg vs. Protoss, the specialist. He revolutionized that style, he changed it, he made it his, and for a long time was dominating, especially around the time that he got to the final in the Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen. He defeated every Protoss easily, wanted to have every Protoss play he could, so he could win easily and move on to the finals. And he even showed his level against Terran as well by playing against Tasia in the finals, where he almost was able to defeat him too and almost had that championship to be his.
And likewise, Solar, he wants to, he showed his ZvP. We know he's great at ZvP, or at least has been in the past, and no doubt will be in the future again.
Yeah.
He wants to show us his ZvT. And his ZvT, recently, I mean, in the GSL Code S, he beat Dream.
Right.
Dream being one of the best TVZ players in the world.
Exactly.
That's actually a very big feather in his hat coming into the series.
So, in terms of this match right now, the first player to get a bit of scouting information is Solar. He had the Overlord, he's seen the Command Center first, whereas Bbyong, on the other side of things, has gone Command Center first, has gone for a gas before the barracks, which enables him to get the factory pretty swiftly. And then he's got a second gas follow-up here. So he's going to be opening up in a very similar way to how we saw Innovation yesterday with Banshees or Hellbats. And notice the second gas placement here, Maynard. It's to the back.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to be easily spotted because the Overlords have moved positions now. And this is something which can mean, do I play greedy as a Zerg player or do I get ready for an attack? And this is big information that Solar needs to find out.
Would you say that Bbyong here would be aggressive in this particular game? Well, I mean, the starport coming out, it's actually starting to look like he possibly may be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Second gas coming down. He's got resources to go towards Banshees, towards getting Cloak, and even towards getting the Armory down to go Hellbats. And this is information that, as we saw yesterday, if you can't gather it, you could just lose right out. Life lost multiple games yesterday against Innovation because he didn't know what he was playing against, and he wasn't ready to deal with Hellbats.
Absolutely, and some gas. The gas is piling up for Bbyong with that extra second gas tucked away at the back there. So, no doubt we're going to see some sort of scary timing from him, dropping also the tech lab on the barracks, so going to some Banshees as well. Solar taking his third. And he's looking very standard back in Solar Town. He hasn't dropped any tech yet.
Yeah, he's just doing his own thing. He's playing in his own world. He's droning up. He's now just seen these Hellions, so he's probably going to start to get ready to deal with a couple of Hellions. Building a couple of Zerglings is usually pretty good to do at this point, just to make sure that you don't take too much losses. He started his layer pretty fast here instead of Evolution Chambers, so with the layer coming in, he can get an Overseer really fast to help with Banshee play, despite not knowing that it's on its way.
And also, if he's up against the early Hellion and Banshee pushes, he can actually go for... I mean, he is on 3 hatcheries right now, but going for a flock of mutas, switch is something you can do as well when you go for the quicker lair.
Roach Warren's coming down now, so if there were to be Hellbats in play, he could very easily build that. But he's all doing this without scouting anything. It's just a safe opening. Overseer could be built from the lair. Roaches can be built now from the Roach Warren to protect against either the Banshee or Hellbats. Just a pretty general safe-ish opening from Solar, not cutting corners too much.
Yeah, and Bbyong kind of dictating the flow a little bit, but that said, though, not really, because he hasn't actually really been on the other side of the map yet. He hasn't been on the creep. All he's seen is the third hatchery, and this Banshee is going to be the first unit from Bbyong that scouts inside of Solar's base, if he even makes it that far.
Already, as soon as the lair finished, Nidus Worm. It looks like Solar had a plan from the very get-go. Even though his build was pretty safe, he's going to go for a Roach Nidus opening here. And knowing Bbyong's style, he's almost blind countering this style here. The one way to stop this is the Banshees. Banshees are so crucial, and if there's not a lot of Queens, Banshees are everything. More importantly, does Bbyong scout what's going on with the Banshee here? Because it's got Cloak, he can move in, but there's the Overseer to push it back.
Yeah, the Overseer is detecting the Banshee. He hasn't reacted to it just yet. He's just trying to zone it out, and so far he's doing it very successfully. This is a lot of Hellions, though, and there's not a block on the ramp just yet. And there's the Nidus Worm from Solar just at the front.
There's 5 Queens. This isn't going to get spotted. Bbyong has no idea this is happening yet. He hasn't figured it out. Even though this Hellion's going to be on the third base, it's almost too late. Banshees are key in defending this. There's Hellbats on the third, so I don't really know. What is he going to do? Is he going to defend? Is he going to try and come back?
Well, he only has 2 Hellbats trying to stymie the flow of a giant amount of Roaches with Queen backups with Transfuse Energy on quite a few of them as well. Yeah, he's attacking the third hatchery, but the third hatchery, forget the third hatchery, his main is actually about to be busted into here.
Yeah, this is huge. Bbyong has to keep this wall up.
SCV is so far so good. The Banshee's coming in with Cloak. The Overseer is with the Queen. Smart decision from Solar. He's not target firing the Banshee yet. The Banshee's getting some good damage on the top. The Hellbats are actually holding at the front for now. The SCV's holding a second Nidus Worm going down in the main, but Bbyong already has pulled the SCVs. The DPS of the Banshee will take it down, but the Roaches are in Apollo.
And the Queens are right behind. If the Queens get close to that Banshee, this game just ends. He needs more than that.
He's out of energy on the Banshee. No hiding, nowhere to run. And the Banshee's actually taking a lot of damage from the Queen. A second Banshee coming down from the top is going to help out a lot with its DPS, but obviously with the Overseer, this is becoming a task very, very difficult for Bbyong. One shot each on each of those Banshees from a Queen, and they're both gone.
But there's a third one on the way. The DPS from the Banshees is high. He has to keep these alive.
Oh, the Banshees actually flies over the Queens. It's going to get sniped. Good pick up there from Solar. That was so scary, that high health Banshee. The Roaches are holding. That bunker's been so crucial. Another Banshee taken down by the Queens. A third Banshee caught by the Queens. Solar, he is looking like he's going to bust through here and end this game. Just SCVs left on the ground. This bunker, the MVP for Bbyong, but will it be enough?
No, there's more Roaches, there's more Queens. Every single SCV is going to go down. 24 have been killed. Bbyong is not going to be able to hold on to this. No. An excellent execution coming out from Solar.
26 SCVs going down. Only a paltry amount left, and they will get picked up with the reinforcements of these Roaches. The Queens are out of transfusers, but they don't need them at all.
Yeah, it's 80 supply to 44 here. More units are going down. Bbyong is trying his very best to hold on. He has 3 command sets, he has 3 sets of mules, but there's more Roaches, more Queens, and it's never going to stop.
No, he's not going to stop here. He smells blood in the water, and he wants this win. God, this bunker has been so good for Bbyong. I mean, he's lost 36, 37 SCVs, and they are still going, but they have put their entire lifeline for their commander Bbyong here, holding this bunker on to this attack. How is this happening?
He's getting a second Banshee. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope, but he loses the initial one once again. He can't afford to lose these. He's going to take a different approach. He can move these Roaches down to the natural very easily and go snipe more SCVs down there. The bunker has got these Marines in, but this is naked. This is very, very vulnerable. More Queens come into play. I think, to be honest, he could maybe even try to invest in a Nidus Worm in between these 2 bases. He's got full protection with the units that he has here.
The SCV kills keep piling up. Meanwhile, the drones are going up, or just the Roaches are going up. in number with the Queens coming down one by one as well. This bunker, man. This bunker needs to be all over the internet for how effective it's been in this game. It's just literally been the only thing with the, well, I mean, with the benches as well. But another one get picked off by the Queens. He's put so much money into this defense here. His gas is piling up, but he's running out of minerals.
Yeah, he's running out of SCVs too. Now he's using mules to repair. More and more roaches coming through, and he's targeted down the SCVs to make sure the repair can't happen. And very shortly, this heroic bunker will fall. It cannot be repaired, and then it's going to start to take damage.
It's just a matter of time. The repairing SCVs are out, and we'll probably be seeing a GG tapped out of Bbyong very momentarily here, as Solar has pushed. It's a very nail-biting all-in here, but it is happening, and it is going to happen. Bbyong is out of options here.
Yeah, he's lost the bunker. The Banshee's there, but there's another Queen, and there's more to be built. And Solar now is just going to chase down SCVs that are left towards this right-hand side and bring down everything that's there, while still building Queens, still being roaches. A really valiant effort here from Bbyong, and it really went a lot longer than I thought it would go on. He's still trying his heart out. He mustn't allow that Nidus there. But it's 2 Queens at a time, and there's very little economy left for Bbyong. He's lost so much.
He has indeed. I mean, there hasn't been many workers at home for Solar either, but he has really hit this economy a lot harder than his economy is looking right now. We just saw it. Funker brought it up. 60+ SCV kills by this attack. This is it.
There is one Banshee, and right now I think the best way for this to play out for Solar, he's got such a lead. Just slow down and really build that Queen count up. Keep adding on 2 Queens at a time. Keep sending these roaches in. Keep going for the SCVs. It's 25 supply to 64. Slowly but surely, Bbyong is dying. He's going to get a second Banshee, and he's going to be able to kill off this Queen. So the Queen going in by itself wasn't the best idea here, like I said.
On the Banshee, nice, but again, SCVs are just they're just through a sieve here. They just keep dripping and dying one at a time.
Yeah.
And Solar completely untouched back at home. It's just continuing to do damage. It looks like he's actually he's pulling back here.
Yeah, he's got to wait. He has to build up the Queens. He needs to go in with like 4 or so Queens. He's got enough here to be able to push this back. I think they're going to have another Queen popping out from this in a second. Good micro as well. Transfuses seconds away from both of these Queens. Bbyong holds on for now, but he has 9 SCVs. 9 SCVs, but he does have 3 sets of mules. 30 supply to 74. A major difference in the income. As you can see, 300-400 a minute difference. Bbyong is trying to recover. Widowmine's on the way. And as much as Solo was very close to winning it, it's not 100% over yet.
Every bone in my body was screaming that this is all over, that Bbyong is defying the laws of StarCraft physics right now by holding on as much as he's managed to here. These 3 Banshees are so crucial for him. He's lost a lot of Banshees and a lot of minerals. That said, Bbyong has spent a lot in this attack as well.
He's going to charge
here we go.
again.
This is going to try and be the finishing blow here. He has energy on these Queens once more. The roaches are cleaning up everything on the ground. He has to clean up the Banshees. The Banshees, once they die, there is nothing left for Bbyong to hold. He's making widow mines at this point.
Banshees are everything. If he can get rid of that Overseer somehow.
He just doesn't... I mean, that widow mine was his hope of killing that Overseer. It is very, very low, but... I mean, he's making Marines one at a time, and these roaches aren't going to let that happen.
And he's going to target down the starport now to eliminate Banshees. 3 Banshees, a 4th is going to squeeze out, though.
Yeah, 4th does come out, and that's quite a lot of DPS. He's going to get down this Nidus worm, but another one is coming up in the main, and the Queens are zoning that one out.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a super, super good effort from Bbyong, but... Oh, is he going to get the Nidus? He gets the Nidus.
Targeted down. Great pickoff here. Is there enough? No, looks like just the transfuses on the Queen are too powerful. Finally! Solar gets the job done and takes game number 1 away from Bbyong. And I've got to say, Apollo, I did not expect the game to look like that at all. I thought this would be a long mech versus Swarm Host game.
Yeah.
Barney being amazing for Swarm Hosts, but I mean, this is the power. This is why this game's so beautiful, man. It could be anything at any time. Players will surprise you every tournament.
A lot closer than I think everyone was expecting that to be, too.
Especially us. I mean,
absolutely. Solar does take map number 1, and I really feel that this build definitely works against non-mech openers as well. But overall, I think that was a very, I'm going to beat Bbyong this way. And this is how I'm going to open up this series.
Indeed. So game number 2 will be going down relatively shortly here. Gonna have to take a 1-minute break before we see it go down, though. So guys, please don't tune out. Game number 2, this TVC of Bbyong and Solar coming up next. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice. Game number 2 between Bbyong and Solar about to begin. And Solar, with his win rates in Pro League looking shaky at best lately with a 1-7. He is off to a flying start here to try and win some face back against this this monster of Pro League.
Despite getting a top 8 in GSL, Solar definitely compared to last year has been struggling in StarCraft. He got figured out a little bit coming into 2015. People started to realize how he likes to play in Zerg versus Protoss, and there's a lot of very good Terran players out there, so he started to lose a lot versus Terran, but he started off the World Championship very well. He's got map number 1 under the belt, and that is a very comfortable feeling to enter this stage, and especially in a series like that. And I think we saw it a little bit in his facial expressions. Once the game was over, he was like, okay, yes, that did work, okay.
Yeah.
I've got map number 1, let's try and take map number 2.
I think a lot of people were on the edge of their seat in that first game and breathing a sigh of relief after that one ended. In the bottom right here, currently 1 map up from Samsung Galaxy Khan. This is Solar. And in the top left, the CJ Entus Badass. This is Bbyong.
And Solar has a couple of plans for this series today. He opened up with a Ro16 play in game number 1, and he's going to open up with an 8 pull in game number 2 here on Deadwing. He's spawned cross positions, so the Zerglings are going to have a little bit of a trek to the other side of the map. But if we see command center first from Bbyong like we did in the first game, he's going to be able to get a cancellation on that. Bbyong is going to be in a bit of trouble, but does he open up that way?
Time will actually have to tell, because there's nothing to tell us other way just yet. But I mean, does Solar go to the right position as well? The Overlords are obviously going to be crucial for that, but it doesn't look like CC first here. It's going to be a barracks first.
And this is great. This is great news for Bbyong. This is really good news. The command center is going to be probably on the low ground, but the speed of the spawning port and the rate that the Zerglings are going to come out, they're going to just run into a Reaper. Solar's gambling that this is going to be a command center first.
Yeah, and this is actually uncharacteristic of Bbyong to Reaper expand. He is the CC first kind of guy. He likes the green. He likes getting up to that mid game, and he's very comfortable playing the late game, but so is Solar.
And Solar isn't just going to build 2 or 4 Zerglings. This is full commitment, and there's nothing that can tell him otherwise. In his head, this is command center first, or at least he's hoping for it. He's going to build quite a few Zerglings, and he's going to be wanting to get the cancellation. He's going to be wanting to do damage to the wall, maybe even break the wall down before it's ready in between the second base and first base. But there's going to be a Reaper out, and the Reaper's going to shut down everything very easily.
It's interesting to me that the drone is actually scouting where the Overlord is going, but you know, I guess he wants to confirm it a little bit earlier. I would have thought that he'd send the drone where the Overlord wasn't, like to earlier confirm the spawning position of Bbyong and what he's up against. But anyway.
And Bbyong is scouting south, which means there's only 2 positions Solar's in. It's either bottom left or bottom right. If the SCV's going south, the Reaper is naturally just going to go across the map, and it's going to walk right into these Zerglings. And Solar has 2 choices. You go up, you see the Reaper, and you run back and lose everything, or you just try to go for the SCVs or get a lucky surround on the Reaper. Yeah. And look at the timing of it. Solar's like, oh no, he doesn't go to command center first here. Yeah. And he's hiding. He knows he's in trouble already.
Yeah.
The Reaper's jumped around. He hit the Zerglings, and the Reaper is going through the middle, and there's still Zerglings on the other side.
Yeah, there's a lot of Zerglings coming through here, and there's no
units. Only 1 Reaper.
Yeah, he's making his reactor.
Oh, Solar.
Oh boy, Solar got lucky here, and this is going to really work out. Oh God, and just brought up the supply depot wall in time. But that said, though, even with the supply depot wall, he's going to break through here. This is just a matter of time.
The Reaper's on its way back to help this. He doesn't want to have to make a cancel, and Solar has managed to turn this around by hiding the Zerglings. The Reaper's almost back here.
The Reapers are going to help out a lot. That supply depot is getting a little bit low.
Yeah.
And the Zerglings do get in, and they will begin their reign of terror against the SCVs, but
he just doesn't want to lose too many SCVs. He's still in a leading position as long as he doesn't lose very much here.
It's not GG, but depends on how much damage he's done here. We'll see what's going on. 2 SCVs so far. The Reaper heading out so much. Oh, a 3rd SCV going down as well. That's a good trade with the Zerglings.
Sneaks a 3rd one, but that's not good enough. If I was a Zerg here, I say that's not good enough. My hatchery is only at 300 hit points out of 1,500. I'm really far behind. The command center's almost finished. There's already going to be Hellions really fast in this game because the factory's already on its way. You definitely are expecting more, and then on top of that, you also have to deal with the Reaper. So you don't have a second queen.
Yeah.
The first queen's lava injecting. You can't defend both locations. You can't really send drones down to the natural very easily. Better opening for Bbyong. Solar made the most out of it, but this is a nice position for the Terran.
Indeed, good trade for him, and sending that Reaper up into the main. He's going to see what he can get done. He'll just have to come down to the Queen and the drone micro. No Zerglings on the floor at all. See how many drone kills he can get done so far. Just touching him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Reaper sees the gas go down as well. Hasn't confirmed the hatchery count, but he has a pretty good idea after that Zergling attack.
And a starport's been built here by Bbyong too, so we'll see what he wants to try with this. He could try to stop marine production and then try to add a tech lab on, or he can continue marine production, go up towards 8, build a medivac, and use Hellions and a medivac full of marines to deal huge amounts of damage.
This Ling trying to go for a lucky scout here, and the wall actually just got raised then, and it will be taken down. Drone's now saturating the natural of Solar.
Yeah, but the one tell here is he saw the barracks without a tech lab on it. So, and it was building a marine as well. So you can almost guess at this point, why is there not a tech lab on that? Why hasn't that barracks been lifted up to build a tech lab for a starport? And why is it still building marines?
Well, he knows that he doesn't have to deal with anti-air for that time being, so no spore crawlers going down for Solar just yet. That said, though, a medevac is coming out with some Hellions. Could be some shenaniganry.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Yeah. Definitely looks like it.
So Bbyong is investing in dealing more damage instead of just throwing down a third command center. He's also investing into the armory. So this is not just going to be Hellions, Marines supported by the medevac. It's going to be Hellbats. The bats. The bats are on the way.
Scary, scary splash damage anti-light unit.
And right now, Solar is in recovery mode. Queens and drones with minimal amounts of Zerglings. And I don't even think he's going to build a Roach Warren or Baling Nest.
Oh, big lineup there. He's got 4 drones already. 8 drones now, and these Hellions are really raining terror in the natural. Oh my god, that's so many drones. He's going to get into the main as well. The Queens couldn't block. They were out of position. And in they come. No creep, no Zerglings, and just drones with Queens slowly lumbering over into the main. 20 drone kills. This is a barbecue, Apollo.
I want to call Bbyong the Punisher after this one. This was excellent, and he's going for more. And this was even without the Hellbats.
He doesn't even need them at this point. That's 28 drone kills.
Maynard, this is game. This is over. Nobody loses 35 drones and recovers from this position. There is going to be Hellbats very shortly. It's 20 supply. It is over. GG. And Bbyong says, well, if you try tricks like that, young boy, I am going to absolutely destroy you.
I'm not so easy, Solar. Ties the series 1 apiece. And oh boy.
And the series is on.
It is indeed. We got ourselves a series here. Going to go into Catalina for a 3rd map. Now, this one is actually quite good for Bbyong, I feel. A little bit tough on the Zerg to hold, and Hellbat timings, which is something that we obviously know that Bbyong likes to use. Yeah. Very strong in this map as well.
It's a great map for Terran coming into this next one, but Solar took a risk, he took a gamble, and that's what happens in StarCraft when you predict what's going to happen. And when you predict something that you're expecting your opponent to do, sometimes it works and you can go ahead and get an easy cancellation on it. But the time that he doesn't do it, that's what happens. You fall behind. And Bbyong is a great player. We've known it. We've seen it for a long time. And he is at the ability to be able to punish someone who tries something like this.
Absolutely. He's done it before. Will he do it again? Time will tell as we get into game number 3. Solar, both of these players just really want to win that face at an international tournament.
Absolutely.
It's such a prestigious tournament with so much money on the line. What better place? They fought so hard and they both deserve to be here. But who deserves to be the champ?
Well, this series is very close. I think a lot of predictions coming from fans, coming from the experts, have always said that this is really close. This is one of the closest series that we have in the round of 16. Both of them can very easily win this, depending on their form on the day. So far, 1-1 is very... It kind of represents how this series is going to play out for the rest of it, I think. I think it's going to be really close and probably go all 5.
I would love to go all 5. TVZ, my favorite matchup. Definitely keen for this one. Haven't seen really any mech play yet either. Haven't gotten into the siege tank and into the
No, the games have been too fast for that.
They've been too fast, too furious. We're going to take another break, guys, just for 90 seconds or so. But do not go away. Game number 3 between Solar and Bbyong very soon. What's up, fans? Welcome back. That sign is so sick. Shout out to the crowd. Have been incredible. Even in day one, we didn't have that many. Everyone's piled in now for some StarCraft, and they are loving it. Are you all loving it out there? Yeah! Oh, yes. Game number 3 between Solar and Bbyong coming up. And these guys, this crowd is so lucky. We're so lucky. Everyone in the stream is so lucky. It's going to be great games all day long.
This is the World Championship of the Intel Extreme Masters. We are here seeing the best players in the world go up against each other for a prize pool of $117,000. There is a lot of WCS points on the line that can assist you on the road to the global finals at the end of the year, which we all love and enjoy, which was at BlizzCon last year. Right now, we're only in the round of 16. There is a lot more StarCraft to come. This is day 2 of 4. We have more games, and Flash is playing later on, which I'm sure everybody's looking forward to. But right now, Bbyong versus Solar, 1 apiece.
Yes, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm getting chills just thinking about what's up next, Apollo, but we've got to do this one at the top right here. Well, I guess the top of Catalina from Samsung Galaxy. We have got Solar. This lovable scamp.
I don't think he's going to be trying any more tricks for a little bit now.
Well, could be right. In the far left here, the westernmost position, this is CJ's Bbyong.
And he's got ideal spawning locations on the Zerg player to open up with Reapers. The Reapers here just do a beeline straight towards the Zerg base. It's going to be really, really early when they get there. And I would be surprised if Bbyong opened up Command Center first, considering the previous game, considering the map, and considering there's a 50-50 on where the Zerg spawns, that he gets a really good location for the Reapers to do the damage that they do.
Yeah, and a big wide main, lots of area that the creep doesn't cover, and that extra step into the main just makes this so good for Reapers.
It is a 12 barracks instead of 11, though, so he's not putting full emphasis on the Reaper production too early.
Won't go 3, maybe 1. It could probably be 1. Not 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, he's going to want to open up Reapers to try to get a bit of information, try to get a bit of damage early on.
Indeed. So Solar here, looking like he's going to go hatch first, like a good little Zerg, kicking up his macro. No early pull shenaniganry. So far, you're right, Apollo. Solar going to reel it back a little bit, just place his standard ZvT, which he's done so well in the past. I mean, like we said earlier, this kid's beaten Dream. One does not simply beat Dream in ZvT these days.
Tell that to life.
Well, life is life, man. Unfortunately, being stopped by a Terran at some point, which was a little bit of a shock to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not to me.
Yeah.
Innovation.
All right, so Solar's opening up with a pause in this game number 3 here, so an admin will go over and see what's wrong.
Yeah, interesting
but,
play.
As you said, hatchery first, then spawning pool. Pretty standard.
Yep. And he didn't go hatch gas pool.
Yep.
Just straight to the pool there. So being a little bit cautious, because this map being this map and the Reaper being built and all that sort of stuff, a little bit silly.
This is our Casper representative here, the guy on the left,
He's the best.
Were wondering.
Yeah, and he is the best dressed gentleman in this building right now, I'd have to say. I mean, I have to go around and have a look at more people, but I mean, Red Eye looked pretty sharp on the stage, and Jan Molo, Mr. Todd, could, he's a runway model. Yep. I didn't know that until this morning with the opening ceremony. That guy is gorgeous in a suit, but this guy is real sharp.
Decent win record so far in 2015 for Solar against Terran, 6-3, especially considering the players that he plays against. As you mentioned, Dream, being one of those as an example.
But that wasn't Bbyong, and Dream is incredible, but Bbyong a very different player.
And Bbyong, 2-0 in ace matches for CJ Intus. He's not quite the ace player for that team, as we've got in our next match. The ace player is actually going to come onto the stage, which of course CJ Hero. But Bbyong, really good, really good in Pro League.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 6-5.
Yeah,
but
correct.
6 wins is so much more impressive than
Solar's 1 win.
Well, I mean, yes, but even with 5 losses, like you were saying, last night when we were talking about this series, 6 wins is way more impressive. Even with the losses, they just don't matter in Pro League. It's all about how many wins you've got.
Yeah.
And we are resuming the game here.
Yeah, so the gas shortly followed the spawning pool after that was built, and Solar's now seen the barracks, so knows that he's going to have to deal with this Reaper very, very early on.
And correctly scouting with the Overlord, he has scouted exactly where Bbyong is. He knows what's up, sees the Reaper come out as well, And, I mean, he's more than prepared. Seeing the extra CC, wow.
Funny that the command center's inside the main base here.
Yeah, a little bit interesting.
Yeah, he's a little bit worried about early spawning pool and early Zerglings again.
Well, I can't fault him for it, as it has happened already once in this series. Wonder if it'll happen again, but in the meantime, we've got the Reaper coming in the main, looking for some drone kills.
He's got one targeted down.
Yeah, one's low, another's one's low, and so far he's doing the dance of love with the Lings here. And no losses at all for Solar just yet, although these Lings are getting low. Gonna be first blood very shortly, there it is. I mean, he obviously wants drone kills, but good Zergs rarely lose drones against one single Reaper.
Just killed 3 Zerglings with
Yeah, that's actually quite nice. This Queen is actually...
for the 4th.
Oh my god, and you might get a drone as well. This one very low on the bottom here. This is actually a very effective Reaper so far.
Yeah, wonderful Reaper usage. And he is going to escape, and this is only a single Reaper. And I really like that Solar adjusted upon seeing that this wasn't the early barracks for 3 Reapers and only built 4 Zerglings. But unfortunately, because of how good this Reaper's done, he forced out the 5th and 6th Zergling anyway, just by building 1 Reaper. So this is a really good start for Bbyong.
And the Reaper's diving in again. He's already pulling the Queen away from the hatcheries, keeping the multitask of Solar on edge here as he tries to, you know, deal with it. So far, I mean, he's spotted it here, but he's going to stay on the creep. If he leaves the creep, that would be the silliest decision he's ever made in his life, as he will lose more Lings and drones. And we see the Ols 2 standard TVZ Hellion follow-up going down there while expanding. And a quick starport again.
Same build as last game, which he didn't really manage to pull off. And that might be the reason why he's doing it again, because the Hellions ended the game and he never showed what he was trying to do with the Armory and the Marines. So he might just try again. If Solar's going to cut corners and not really build additional Zerglings and allow Hellions to run through so easily, then he can pick up an easier win, or at least a lot of damage.
Such an incredible map for the Hellbat timings. With the, you know, the path to the 3rd is almost never going to, well, it is never going to be connected by a creep to the natural. It's going to be extremely tough. With, you know, Speedlings are the only thing that can get over there in time, and you have 1 or 2 Queens down there, and the Hellbats don't care about that, Apollo. They just barbecue all day.
So same build again for Bbyong. Going to repeat this twice as the Armory does come in. There are Zerglings getting ready for a counterattack as the Hellions move out here to the north. There's only 5 of them, but he may get them caught.
Yeah, it actually kind of looks like Byong's trying to do the loop-de-loop out of the Overlord vision here with his run by. Oh, the Lings and the Hellions pass each other like ships in the night.
I don't think he saw them. And now Solar has units on the other sides of the map for a counter, but is he going to be able to deal with these units?
Well, you know, if the Lings are out there, they're not at home. And the Spinecrawler and the Queens will have to get the job done.
Spine, Queens, 10 Zerglings, Baliness on the way. Here comes the counterattack.
Okay. Not much at home at all for Bbyong, so Natural is actually in a spot of bother at the moment. Oh, getting this Overlord will be nice. That will supply block.
Bailing Nest is far away, and the 2 Hellions are going to be able to deal with this. Here we go.
Time. Here we go. The medevac here is going to help out a lot with these Hellbats. It's actually healing the Marines, not the Hellbats, so they are actually starting to go down one at a time. The herd is still going on into the Natural here. This Queen count is actually looking quite good for Solar, but the Marines and the Hellbats with the medevac are so powerful.
He needs to get in a good position so the Zerglings don't get a full wraparound, and he's moving into one now.
Yeah, the drone's been pulled away from the mineral line as that is the next stop for this attack. And yeah, the main is the next. The main is next here for Bbyong as he tears apart this Natural. More Hellion reinforcements coming down, which will be Hellbats very shortly. Yeah, another Overlord going down. A heavy supply lock here for Solar. He's in big trouble.
He's in big trouble, and Bbyong's just got to split his units away from the bailing connections.
That's all he needs to do here. He obviously doesn't have stim. These units are quite slow, but the splits are
wonderful.
They're just beautiful here for Bbyong. And his attack still continues. Just drones and Queens trying to get the job done here. And one last Queen is about to go down. The drones, the sigh there from Solar, dejected as he has to give the 3rd map to Bbyong there. Well played from the Terran.
And in a series that we thought would go long every single game because of the playstyle of Bbyong going mech, we've had 3 really fast games, and Bbyong moves into match point, 1 game away from going to the quarterfinals like that. Solar's disappointed that the way the series has played out, we saw it at the end there. He gambled in game number 2, he got stung. And in that game 3, he just wasn't ready, wasn't prepared for this type of attack. He didn't scout it, and this is a repeat that we've seen so many times from Zerg players already in the last week or so, and at this tournament as well. You're not ready for the Hellbats, you're gonna get hit hard.
He looks really frustrated by that game. He's been sighing quite heavily in the booth there.
It's a 10-minute game. Yeah. At this level of StarCraft, you are extremely disappointed if you don't get past the 10-minute mark with these type of plays. You should be invulnerable to these types of strategies. You shouldn't be losing games like this at this level.
Well, you're absolutely right. And also, the other game that he lost, losing that many drones to a Hellion run by.
Yeah.
How often does that happen at the top level, like in Pro League? How many times have you seen 40 drones get killed by Hellions?
Yeah, you just don't see these type of games very often because they're not meant to happen at the highest level. If you play Bbyong and it goes to 40 minutes and you lose, you're like, oh man, okay, all right, good, well played, all right, let's go to the next game. But if you lose in 10 minutes, you're like, well, why couldn't I stop that? Why did I allow that to happen? And you're going to be disappointed. And he's got to really stop these emotions flowing through now because he has to keep composed. If he allows it to hit him in this next series, this is going to end.
Well, he has rightfully, and it is within his rights to request a 5-minute break here, so just going to collect himself and get ready for game number 4. If he loses it, that will be it for him at this tournament, and Bbyong will continue into the round of 8.
And Solar, remember, is a finalist from Season 9, the season that we're currently in. He got to the Shenzhen Finals where he narrowly lost versus Liquid Tasia 4-3. Bbyong hasn't even played a tournament this season. He's come from the North American online qualifier to be here today, but all credit to Bbyong, he's playing really, really well. He doesn't have that much success under his belt in his career for StarCraft, but in the last month or so, has qualified back into GSL, which he missed out on Season 1 of, and now he's qualified for this tournament. He's playing well, he's getting results under his belt, he's looked at as one of CJ's best players again to be able to bring the results and bring down victories in Pro League, and he's here at this tournament with a golden opportunity to showcase what he's really made of.
Can Solar get the job done? We'll find out shortly after this very short break, guys. Don't go away. We'll see you soon. That's enough of a break. Let's get into it, guys. Game number 4 between Solar and Bbyong. And
I love this sign for Netwars. I feel sorry for the people underneath the sign that now can't watch StarCraft.
Yeah, hopefully that's a thin material that they can see through. There's a pretty bright screen, a very large, impressive screen. And this guy on screen right now, it's his last chance coming into this last map here.
Boo, Maynard!
Boo!
Are you ready?
Surely they're bourgeois. I think that's what they're trying to say there. They're missing half the sign. That's
Solar
okay.
Has one last chance.
Yes. He needs to not lose one. If he loses another map, that's
over.
it for him. His prospects of saving that face, of being the European hero that he was back at DreamHack Stockholm, it's just going to be all gone. And Bbyong will be the guy that continues.
Bbyong will move on to the next round if he's able to defeat Solar on Inferno Pools.
And this map is so spawn dependent. It could be incredibly favored to Bbyong or incredibly favored to Solar. And this spawn's incredibly good for this guy. You will need to all show him so love if you want to see him get through. This is Samsung Galaxy Solar. Not bad, crowd, not bad. And in the bottom here, cross maps. Currently up, one more map is all he needs. This is CJ's Bbyong. Those passionate fellows at the front, I've seen them all weekend. They've been looking good.
And they're going to be here till the final day, Maynard.
Yes,
on
they
Sunday,
will.
when we enter the Spodek Arena for the grand finals, a best-of-7 between the two best players here at the Intel Extreme Masters Championship.
I wonder if they'll be front row in the Spodek Arena for that grand finale.
I would hope so. That's where I would
I
love
get
to
chills
be.
just thinking about it. Just thinking about it.
So let's talk a little bit about Inferno Pools and the fact that this was Solar's map choice.
Odd decision.
Odd decision, and Snoop brought it up that this was the replacement instead of Overgrowth. He could have chosen Overgrowth here, and then Inferno Pools would have been the 5th and Decider map, but he decided to go for Inferno Pools here. Snoot highlighted that maybe he could feel comfortable on this map, that even if it's close positions, we know that Bbyong likes to play mech, and mech isn't going to be as easy to play on this map because of the distance of the third base. He's going to have to take it a lot more slow. It's a big map, which means the mech army and push is going to take a long time to move through wherever he wants to go. But Solar has got very lucky in the spawning positions, as you've highlighted from before.
Yeah, obviously the Zerg, the way the race works, more space, more distance from the opponent, the more time they have to react and decide what to do with their lava, the better it is for the Zerg. And he's gotten the spawns he needs here.
Yeah, and if we just think back to yesterday, if you didn't see yesterday's games, we saw Life versus Innovation on this map, and Innovation didn't stand a chance. Everything he tried, it didn't work, and it wasn't because Life was 10 times better, is that the map is 10 times larger than every other one when they spawned in these positions, and everything was seen early. Life had a bucket load of time to be able to react and defend against what was going on, and Innovation just couldn't do anything to make it work.
Bucket loads of time. He had lorry loads of time. Look at the rush distance here. Sorry, I just wanted to say the word lorry. I know that you're British. Sometimes you miss home, so we just use some British words every now and then in the cast.
Please drop some more in throughout the weekend.
No worries, mate. Hopefully there's no bobbies outside. Never mind. We have got the Reaper getting out here. He obviously needs to identify where his opponent is as soon as possible.
Yeah.
He needs to know what he needs to do here. I mean, obviously he's going to go for a fast expand. This is Bbyong after all.
Yeah, and he's putting it inside his main base again. In case there was to be an early spawning pool, he sacrifices a little bit of mining time because SCVs can't be built instantly. He has to lift the command center up, put it back down onto the natural, so he loses a bit of economy, but he's safe against early spawning pools, which unfortunately for him is not the case this time.
Indeed. And Solar, conversely, hasn't found out where Bbyong is either. So he's just about to identify, I mean...
That he's not by top left.
And another thing that we have to talk about here is how wide open that natural is. If you want to go for a Ling Flood or something like that, that is a tough natural to wall in, man. That's
And it could have been one of the options why he got the early Zergling speed. That may be something he's looking at.
Yeah, you're very, very right. This Reapers from Bbyong have been pretty good so far. This one, not quite as good as his previous brother on Catalina. Just the one Zergling kill so far. Just gets and sees the gas, sees there's one drone still in the gas as well.
Yeah. So he knows that Zergling speed is on the way, and he knows that, well, that's about all he knows from the time being. There definitely could be more gas being invested into and gathering more to try to build up some type of attack. But in these positions, it's very difficult to get over to the other side of the map fast. With roaches, with Zergling, so I doubt we'll see that from Solar. But despite the map size, Bbyong has speedy units. He has the Hellions, which are pretty fast, and he has Medivacs, which are also pretty fast when boosting across the other side of the map, which can ferry the Marines to the other side. And it looks like he's going to do the same 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And Solar's lost to it 2 times in a row. Please don't tell me it's 3.
For Solar fans out there, and especially for Solar himself, I'm sure he doesn't want to see this again. I mean, obviously, Bbyong knows exactly where Solar is. He knows how long it takes to get over there. He's no doubt, as most pro gamers do at this level, they have a calculator in their brain. They know exactly when to hit and how to hit. And this Overlord is about to be taken out as well, which is going to hurt Solar a little bit.
So the Overlord gets taken out. He gets supply blocked here. He's pretty much open the same as he did in the last game. If it wasn't the map, it's almost an identical game. The Spinecrawler coming in, Queens, and we saw what happened last time. And even the Baneling Nest is going to be timed pretty much at the same as previously. The Armory has now been added on. It's identical from game previously to this one. Now, is he going to make the hold this time?
Well, Solar is changing things up a little bit from the last map, and that is he is going for the 2-base muta play by the looks of things. First, he needs to deal with the Hellbats. Yes, But this is something that Zerg's going to be doing on this new map pool, going for the 2 base plays.
10 Zerglings, 12 Zerglings already on the way. The map size helping out a little bit because he's been able to build these units. He goes in, he sees the armory, he knows what he's up against, and Banelings need to be morphed instantly. He's got the Spire, so when the Spire is on the way, when that finishes, he's going to be in a good position, but he mustn't take drone losses.
Ooh, Medevac loaded up with a bunch of Marines here, and these are all going to be Hellbats very shortly. The armory's finishing up now. And it's Hellbat time. The Spire could even be targeted down.
And then you've got the Marines inside the main base just been boosted by the Medivac.
Oh my god, and the Hellbat's just morphing now in a beautiful position, cornering up the button here.
The Banelings, though, the Hellbats are pretty clumped up.
Yeah, absolutely, and here come the Banelings. Oh my god, he lost everything there. The Hellbats are all dead. The Marines still in the main, causing damage, though.
Only 4 drones.
Gone.
Only 4 drones.
Yes.
This is a good defense, and now these Marines should be cleaned up pretty well. The Queens are going to hunt the Medivac. There is a Baneling, which gets a good detonation.
And he actually has to pull out now. He can't engage anymore.
Good defense. He
Great
doesn't
defense.
die.
Not dying against that attack is amazing for Solar. And now he has the Mutas on the way as well.
Yeah, now the Spire really comes into play because there are no Marines, really. There's no engineering bay. There's nothing to stop this. There's no anti-air. He's got a reactor on the starport and 1 Viking, so he can build a couple of additional ones, and that's going to be it. But there are more Hellions on the way. Solar doesn't know that more Hellions have been built until that second he sees it with a single Zergling. Does he have any units, though?
I think he actually he has 11 Lings here, so he's morphing a few Banelings because he knows that the attack is imminent. And actually, I want to bring it up as well that an Overlord got sniped here by this Medevac, which means he can't pump as many Mutas as he wants. He's only being able to make 3 right now.
All right, here we go, second phase.
Yeah, he has to use the gas for the Banelings as well. And a clump of Hellbats that do take a lot of damage on 3 of them there.
But Mutalisks are seconds away.
They are indeed, and it looks like the Hellions are actually just going to go straight Wings of Liberty mode and see if they can get it done this way. They are very damaged, so the Queens and the Mutas can actually finish them up. But how many drones are going to get here? 6 drones! The drop in the main completely cleaned up, no more Marines left, and there go the Hellions, and there go the Marines from that drop. The attack is over.
Good. 7 drones is very good for Bbyong here. He invested in more, and he gained what he needed to do. And now he's preparing his anti-air. He's got Vikings on the way. He's going to play mech in this game, but he's got turrets, 3rd command center done, better economy than Solar. He just needs to not take damage versus these Mutalisks, and he goes into the next part of the game in a lead because he was able to get into that 2-base economy.
One Widowmine here going to connect on one of the Mutas, take that out for free, always nice. Only 4 left, and that's not that scary. Oh, another Widowmine going to hit that cluster. A bit of damage there. I mean, they will regen. They are Heart of the Swarm Mutas, but the Vikings will chase them down. Another,
200 minerals, 200 gas, down the loo, as we say, Maynard.
Down the loo, mate.
And
all gone.
That is a big investment already. The whole strategy's been spoilt by Solar. He's got weak economy, weak production. He loses another Overlord, I guess that was, as the Mutalisks are over this side. But overall, Bbyong is in great shape. This is a wonderful, wonderful game and a wonderful position to be in.
Now, these Mutas can be annoying for this 3rd CC that's trying to float over to the island.
But the Vikings are on their way.
And the Vikings are a lot scarier than the Mutas.
They are, and this means this 3rd base is going to be taken very easily. Means no Roaches can ever disrupt this, and only Mutalisks can be that. There's going to be turrets, there's going to be more Vikings around. I love the strategy choice by Bbyong to take the island base when he's playing mech.
Yeah, and that is exactly what's going down now.
He loops around the problem we identified earlier, that on this type of map, taking a 3rd out in the open is difficult to do. The ramp size, the distance, he gets rid of all of that by taking this base.
Yeah, and that's actually forcing Solar to make more Mutas and not actually make much of a ground army, which means there's not too much of a ground at all.
There is a lot of Hellions here. And currently, there's only 9 Zerglings. More Mutalisks are on the way, but there's a lot of Vikings. They have +1.
He's made a Roach Warren, but he can't make that many Roaches just yet.
If these go to the gold base and just kill all the drones...
Yeah, well, I mean, what's he going? He has to rely on the Mutalisks here, and there's almost as many Vikings as there are Mutas. In fact, let's have a look. I mean, the Viking count is 7 versus the 12 Mutas here, and with that long range, they can do so much damage.
Oh, this is very, very important here for Solar. I mean, he's been behind for a long time because of the opening and taking damage, but the Mutalisks are going to shut back 1 turret. There's not really enough repairing here.
Just 2 mules and 1 SCV.
Oh my God,
there's a Widowmine hidden there.
There was 2 of them. I didn't see them, and neither did Solar.
Oh my God, no one saw that happening until it was too late. The Hellions are coming through here. Solar scrambling his defense, but all the Lings have just evaporated. The Hellbats are here now, and they are ready for that gold base. They want to take it apart. They might even just go for the natural. No, the gold is the choice here.
And remember, all the Mutalisks are weakened, which means the Vikings are going to do so much damage. He's losing so much. Solar is in so much trouble. Bbyong has played this out excellently.
He's got a big cluster of mutas. In fact, the Vikings have landed. They're just going up in the air. That's free damage from the mutas. I think that was a misclick or something from Bbyong. And he's going to take a lot of Viking damage here. The mutas may be able to get this done. The hatchery is going to go down, though, 100%.
He can't lose the hatchery. There is no way he can lose his hatchery if he wants to be able to win this game.
Well,
and down it
goes, and is that it for Solar? It certainly looks terrible for him, as he is down to 2 hatcheries against a 3-base Terran, and one of them's on an island.
And a gifted Thor here from Bbyong, who doesn't care. He's in a wonderful position. 2 Hellbats headed towards the main base.
He might get more drones here.
And Bbyong giving us an excellent display in this series, in this game.
Hellbat dunk. He's in the main. More drones getting barbecued. Things go from bad to worse for Solar. 11 drone kills and a dead hatchery. How does he recover from here? Can he recover from here?
This is a very difficult position to recover from. He's got these Mutalisks, but there's turrets. There are, I suppose, there's only turrets right now. There are Thors on the way. He's got to repair this turret not to lose it, and he is going to do that. But a couple of SCV kills is nothing compared to the 22 that he just lost.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the harvester difference. Yeah. Funker's bringing it up right now. 70 SCVs versus 43 drones. Things could not be worse for Solar at this point.
And in Bbyong's shoes, all you do now to get your advancement to the round of 8, a massive result here, a massive achievement in his second tournament, is sit down, defend, build up, and attack when you've got a good-sized army.
Yeah, and oh my god, that Thor volley was so effective. It did so much splash damage on those clumped-up mutas there that were being micro to take out that turret. And a 4th CC's floating over.
With double the economy of your opponent, which Bbyong has, his supply is skyrocketing. He's building every type of unit, anti-air, ground, Vikings, Hellbats in support, everything. And he's going to muster up this army that cannot be stopped. And he's going to march over to the other side of the map and doesn't care about the distance, doesn't care about roaches, doesn't care about Mutalisks. There is simply not going to be any resistance from Solar. Solar has to play greedy. He has to buy time. And roaches, I don't even think roaches can cut it. Does he need to go swarm host? Does he need overwhelming roaches? Where is he going? Because right now he's only focused on economy, and Bbyong is hunting for that with Hellions on the move.
He is indeed, and they're going to go straight for that gold hatchery, and as it's getting retaken here by Solar. The defense of Solar is pretty much all in the sky. It's a very, very weak number of roaches on the ground.
If Solar is looking at the impossible, I don't know how he's going to recover. If he recovers from this, it's going to be the biggest comeback I've seen in a very, very long time.
Possible. Well, it's the biggest comeback I can even think of in the history of StarCraft 2 if he comes back from here. Bbyong needs to lose this game, and it's going to be very hard for Solar to do that. Look at that army.
It's building up slowly but surely. It's building. He's getting blue flame. He's adding plating upgrades, so he's going to be a bit more defensive when it comes to taking the hits from these units. And very shortly, Bbyong is going to move out. And the question is going to simply be, is Solar ready? Right now, he has those Mutalisks and a handful of roaches, and that is it.
And he's getting upgrades for the Mutalisks as well, so he's going to rely extremely heavily on these mutas.
So he's going to go full Mutalisk. You've pointed it out very smartly. It's going to be full it's going to be roaches. He's going to use roaches. I thought he'd try full Mutalisk and try to go over the Thors, take them out, and then destroy everything else. But there's tanks, there's blue flame, Hellbats.
Does he have enough to invest in the +2 for the mutas as well as make these roaches and have them be effective? The roaches are unupgraded. The mech is upgraded though. They have +1.
So maybe if the roaches can bring down the Thors and the Mutalisks can start to deal damage, that could be an angle he takes. But Bbyong is building up. He's almost ready.
That was a good defense from Solar, actually. He didn't take any kills there. And those were Blue Flame Hellions as well, so he was in position for that, which is, I mean, obviously more drone kills here would be nails in a coffin for Solar here. And oh my god, look at this unit count. It is devastating. The army supply of Bbyong is actually not as high as Solar's, but it is what it lacks in supply, it makes up for in power. It is a hard-hitting, hard-punching army. And highly upgraded as well. These mutas looking for an opening. Any free damage they can get done here is the name of the game here for Solar. Just whatever he can get done without losing anything.
Interestingly enough, Bbyong hasn't really pushed the issue. I really thought that he'd want to move out at a rapid time, but as we can see, Solar is quite ready now. I mean, he's got a decent economy. He's built up an army of roaches. We haven't seen Bbyong move across the map. He's actually repositioning by the looks of it to hopefully take this gold.
One muta dead. These other mutas just hanging around for a little bit. Very dangerous territory.
Is he going to wait till the +2 armor completes and then go with 2-2? Is he about to march now? He's got 60 seconds left on that upgrade.
Yeah, Solar kind of, he definitely looks like he wants to go for an attack here.
Solar sees this, and he's going to charge
in. The tanks run siege. The roaches are going to get right up in the face here. The muta's coming from the other side, and the roaches are pressing in. This is a very, very strong mech army with a few Thors, and these 4 Thors are being very effective against the Roaches on the ground, and with the Hellbats reinforcing in a 5th Thor even coming in, these Roaches look like they're going to dissipate with the Landed Vikings hanging in with the upgrades as well, and they just get cleaned up completely. Bbyong has taken a very good fight there.
Yeah, holds on to the position. It's 2-1 upgrades versus 0-0. 35 additional Roaches are being made. So Solar's rebuilding the same again in hope for a very similar fight. This time the army isn't as strong for Bbyong because he's having to replace what he's just lost. Bbyong, if he overextends, moves too far out, Solar will take that fight again and might be able to win it. But now we have the +2 armor on the mech army, +3 on the way, and more Banshees. And I think as we saw, every single mule is destroyed. There is no answer to those Banshees until Queens or Hydralisks are mass-produced.
And can he afford them? He's gotten back up to 5 bases.
And remember, the mech army, by the way, can take a wonderful position above the gold base from the Zelnoga Tower. This position, this base easily dies, and it's very difficult for Solar to engage into that area on that high ground. He must take a fight below it.
And Solar is keeping on the creep here. In case the mech wants to come up here, he can come from... I mean, there's 2 giant ramps into this area, which is good for the Zerg. But, I mean, it's a 2-2 mech army, Apollo, and he's getting +1 attack for the Roaches, just finishing now.
Yeah, there's 5 Banshees. Hydralisks are good, but there's a lot of Hellbats, Tanks, Thors, and everything else that's going to really destroy them. I'd love to have seen Cloak. No, I think he's got Cloak, okay.
Yeah, he does.
So he's going to use Cloak. This is going to be really good for his Banshees to keep them alive longer.
Which means that the Banshees are going to be untouched by these Hydras for the time being, at least. And this is a big concave here for Solar as he moves in. He's taking out the Roaches. There's nothing on the repair here, but the Banshees are raining high in the sky, though.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage, and they're bringing down a lot of these Hydras. Very expensive. There's no Overseer and Vikings to protect if there was to be one.
Absolutely, and they are coming down now, and the Viking, if they reposition themselves, could easily take them out.
That was an expensive fight. That was a lot of Hydralisks, and Hydralisks are not cheap. And remember, Bbyong has an economy. He's like rich. He's playing a money map. He's got bases absolutely everywhere. He's got mules, unlimited amounts of them.
There's a planetary on fire somehow. Must have missed an attack there. It's actually getting very low. It looks like the Roaches are actually going to get it.
There's no answer to the Banshees, and Bbyong being up in supply has played this really smartly, good push-outs, very costly for Solar, unlimited amounts of money. He's hurting, he's trying to replenish, he's trying to rebuild up, he's trying to get more drones to this east base of his. But Bbyong is back up to 190 in an instant.
The Overseers are here to crash the party for the Banshees, but the Vikings are higher in this. They are the siege tanks of the Sky Apollo, and they are taking the Overseers out one by one. And even if they do detect, which they are, there's not enough Hydras on the ground to deal with the Banshees.
It looks like we're going to have another Terran advance here, Maynard, as Bbyong has played an excellent series, his second international tournament, and he's made a big difference from when he played in Sao Paulo over a year ago now, much over a year, and he's here in the Intellectual Masters at the World Championship, and he's looking at a 3-1 over Solar.
He does indeed. I mean, this cluster of Roaches, once they see those 3 Thors come up with the Hellbat defense and the Banshees, Solar's going to tap out any minute here, almost guaranteed. I mean, kudos to him for staying in the game and trying to make a fight out of it, but Bbyong, too strong, too much of a scary Terran here. The Pro League beast continues in the World Championship here in Katowice, and Solar, unfortunately excused from the tournament, didn't manage to get what he wanted done today.
CJ Entus gets another win over Samsung in the Intellectual Masters World Championship, and it's an early exit for Solar, our finalist from Shenzhen, but our online qualifier. Bbyong has found his way to compete here at the World Championship and has found a way into the quarterfinals.
So yet another Terran comes through to join Innovation and Fantasy. Extremely powerful Terrans. Terran fans out there, rejoice. Zerg fans, don't worry. Dark is in the round of 8 as well. So not all is lost. He looked so good in his series as well.
He's looked excellent. That was a very impressive performance there from Bbyong. He was very solid, very defensive, yet aggressive at the correct times. Loved his strategy choice on Inferno Pools, a difficult map. Remember, that was Solar's map pick that he was feeling comfortable on, but Bbyong was ready at all turns. He played a very good series, and he's moved to the quarterfinals now and has himself $3,000 and a chance to play to get to the semifinals.
That's right. And there is still money in the round of 16. Solar's not going completely empty-handed here.
Yeah, gets $1,000 here for showing up, gains himself, you know, a chance to come here to Poland to play in front of the crowd. But unfortunately, Solar's 2015 is kind of continued to where it has been for the last couple of months.
Yeah, the trend has continued for Solar, which is really a bit of a shame for him, but it is not over. It is still early days in the season of 2015. we've got ourselves plenty of esports time with StarCraft. We've got another 8 months or so of the year.
Yeah.
And I mean, just now is when stuff's starting to kick into gear for StarCraft 2 with the World Championship.
Absolutely.
Today, Pro League kicking into round 2. It's GSL as well.
Yeah, this is only second international tournament. There's a lot of Pro League, Star League, GSL still to happen. And of course, WCS over the next couple of months. But it is all the focus on the Internet Stream Masters World Championship with the trophy up for grabs, the prize pool, ecstatic here, $120,000 pretty much on the line for all these players to fight for and get closer and closer to the deeper stages of this tournament.
That's right. And with this series concluding, we'll cross over to the stage with our winner, Bbyong and Little Susie.
Here we are, definitely with the winner. This is Bbyong, everybody. Give him a round of applause. You look so happy right now. You know, congratulations on that. Now, you play more Pro League than you do international tournaments. Seeing all these people here, what is this like for you?
I think more IEM.
IEM?
Yeah, because wonderful people and atmosphere. Yeah, good.
Guys, so just letting you know, right before this, he had come to me and again, he said, hey, can I do this interview in English? And you know, you guys know I'm all up for that, so props to him. I'm really glad that he's doing this. Now, this is your second international tournament, and you've made the round of 8. Are you happy right here, or what's on the horizon for you?
I'm happy, but I think semi-final versus Hero. Yeah, very hard, I think.
Semi-final versus Hero, that's what he's looking for. How much do you hate him? I mean, that guy goes all around the world. You're in the same team. He goes everywhere, and you're sitting in Seoul playing your games. How much do you hate the guy?
I hate him. 제압기를 너무 많이 막아가지고.
He says, I hate him, and then in Korean he said, it's because he blocks me from going to all these international tournaments, you know? All right, well, you might be playing him next, like you said. Do you have anything you want to say to Hero?
이번에는 진짜 이길 수 있도록. 한 번 더 얍기를 막으면 진짜 완전 싫어할 것 같아요.
All right, you know what? I don't blame him for saying this one in Korean, but he was like, man, if you block me one more time from getting to where I want to be in this tournament, I'm just going to kill you. All right? All right, well, best of luck to you. I really do hope you get your revenge on Hero, and I'm going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Great interview with Bbyong, a player that we weren't expecting to have an English interview, although one person did allude to that, and I bet he has a lot to say about that series. Snoot, you were saying that you stayed in the CJ house with Bbyong and got to hang out with him a little bit, and he's just like one of the nastiest mech players that's out there, so you must have been pretty happy to see, I guess, a person that you practiced and talked with and interact be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's such a skilled player, and definitely, I would say, the best mech TVC player that there is. He plays mech in a style that no one else can. He knows some very strong aggressive timings. He knows when to move out. And as we could see in the last game, he also knows how to be careful. We saw after the big fight with all the roaches almost taking down his entire army. I guess all of his army was wiped out pretty much. He was sitting on 70 SCVs, but basically no economy. He just took things easy from there, never advanced further than the watchtower, just kept his cool. You can also tell in his personality that he's very down to earth, and you can see this reflected in his play. He's just extremely calm, experienced, and yeah, you can absolutely see it in the way that he plays.
Somewhere in the world, a single tear is rolling down Artos' cheek after he saw game number 4. Jeff, what do you think about that series?
I loved it. I really, the very subtle thing of the double Widow Mine hiding behind the CC and the island expansion was really cool, because obviously the only threat there is going to be Mutalisk. And a single Widow Mine can be cool, but we've seen a lot of times that'll hit a flock of mutas and a weird shot will just pick off one, or it softens the entire pack, but it's a little bit more random. In this case, 2 going off, almost no time at all is any number, well, is a low number of Mutalisks going to be able to threaten that expansion. It was just really cool for me, really, really cool. And like you said, his style is so different. You actually alluded to this earlier. You talked about Thors and Hellbats with Banshees, and that style is a little bit more spread out a little bit, but his execution was awesome. And to have the patience to wait in the middle of the map with actually a lot of Vikings as well, hold that island expansion, kind of get things flowing, then push forward once the mutas kind of revealed themselves and weakened themselves at the island expansion. He just played this really, really well. I thought Solar was at least going to put up more of a fight.
Right.
And even that one bunker was kind of representative of Bbyong at the first game. It just would not die. It was
Good reminder, Jeff. Actually, I forgot to get predictions publicly on camera about what the series would pan out. In Control and Snoot both predicted Solar, and Rotterdam was the only one who picked Bbyong on the panel.
Keeps doing this to us.
I mean, you're now 2 ahead of the panelists. What gave you that insight, Did you just know, or did you have a feeling? You talked to Bbyong?
I don't really look into like statistics too much of a certain player being on a hot streak in either Pro League or against Zerg, but the way that Bbyong has been playing lately, and especially the Zergs that he's been playing against, that really made me lean towards him. Like he's just, I think certain Mech Terrans, if they do it well and he does it better than almost anybody, it's just very difficult. And I also felt, that I'm not as impressed with Solar at the moment as I was with him a while ago, and that doesn't mean that he won't get back, because I truly believe that he has the skill or that he has what it takes to once again be one of the absolute most dominating Zergs in the world. I was just not feeling it for Solar today, and I was definitely feeling it for Bbyong. Interesting
to note that something we didn't bring up in the pregame, but Bbyong actually faced Solar last year in WCS Korea, and he also clean sweeped him 3-0. So he continues that streak today. He wins 3-1. And now we'll advance to play the winner of Hero vs. Cure, where she obviously had choice words for his teammate. I mean, that's something that's pretty cool, too, because I think Bbyong's definitely one of the players that we kind of went into this tournament thinking, do we know if this guy has any kind of personality or anything likable about him? Because we don't really know much about this guy at all.
I think one of the cool things is what I was talking about before we actually went live, and then we saw the map videos, and I was like, my silly story can't wait. But basically what I was trying to go at this is only his second international tournament ever. The first one, he was one of these guys that was not able to deliver. Like, to put things in perspective, he lost 0-2 against an Irish player. That's probably the first time that has happened in like the history of StarCraft 2,
A-bomb?
A-bomb to
wow.
Bbyong. Right after the manager of Bbyong, because IEM Sao Paulo back then wasn't very stacked, so the manager is like, hey, I think I should try my luck in this tournament. He actually qualified for the main event, and he took a map of A-bomb, while A-bomb, and he's the manager of Bbyong, and Bbyong lost 0-2, and obviously that's a little sad, but that's why it's even more awesome to just see him bounce back right now like a true champ and actually play one hell of a series at the biggest stage.
I mean, when you take out Snoot in the qualifier to get here to the World Championships, your TVZ must be pretty damn good. Would you agree?
He does play mech, so, I'm pretty good at making swarm hosts, so absolutely.
Fair enough.
We just saw that. That was sick TVZ.
Yeah. Really well done. Actually, we have a moment that we want to pull from the series. Something that kept happening repeatedly throughout the entire time was this Hellbat push or this timing that was going on. Snoot, why don't you walk us through?
Yeah, I feel like the story of this series, once again, we saw this yesterday with Innovation versus Life as well. These Hellbat attacks doing so much work against 2-base muta builds. We saw Bbyong smartly with great tactics just bypassing the spine at the front, completely circumventing it, and then morphing into Hellbats in the back. Almost in position of the Banelings, you would think this is a bit of a bad spot, but at the same time, in the main, we also have the Medivac drop, which forces drones out to the natural to a more exposed area. And while this might not look so bad, only 4 drones killed, it's still actually really, really bad for Solar or any Zerg in this position, because at this phase in the game, you want to be saving resources for the big 2-base muta attack, which kind of has to deal damage. And if your mining at this stage is hindered for a long amount of time, you will not have the bank that you need to make those mutas.
And it functions almost as a... go ahead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw as well with the follow-up. And I also think, like, if you sit on 2 bases as Zerg, like, 2 bases are supposed to be safe. Like, you're not supposed to take almost any damage.
Even this second attack is somewhat unexpected. If this was a bio transition, we wouldn't be seeing this. And once again, more mining being hindered, and the 2-base muta transition is just being weakened even further.
Yep, well, 7 drones going down, and then Mutalisks fly across the map. Sometimes we see on small maps where, even if it's only a few Mutalisks, like let's say between 6 and 8, they idle above production, they pick off turrets, and like they can actually really spin the game out of control, because Zerg bounces back from being on 35 drones, going all the way up to 55, 60. This time, well, the first one flew into a Widow Mine, the second one flew into a Widow Mine, and
Bbyong's defense was just, it just showed how much experience he has in playing his style out.
I think the only flaw in that build from Solar is that, like, if you do this on Expedition Lost, for instance, okay, it doesn't take very long, but cross-map Inferno pools, like, it's very likely that turrets will be ready, and in this case there were even Vikings out, which I think is very uncommon, but that happened as well. How do you feel about it, doing it on cross-map Inferno pools? Do you think it's necessary for him to open up like that?
For Solar?
Yeah.
I think it's a very strong build on Inferno Pool, simply because of the gold base. You can force the turn to stay back at home. You have complete map dominance with the mutas. Of course, Hellions can run past, but if you have some defensive banelings, that can be okay as well. I mean, the idea behind the build that Solar went for is pretty smart. You go to base meter, you unlock the map, and you capitalize with the gold base. So I think the build choice from Solar was pretty good, but the execution was a little bit off. The Baneling Nest was a tiny bit too slow. Maybe he missed some Zerglings initially so that the Hellions got in the back in the first place. Just a few things Solar could have done differently, I believe.
I feel like we've seen this dance throughout the tournament a few times, though, specifically 2-base Muta versus this Hellbat timing attack that was all the rage a long time ago, like 2 WCS seasons ago, but it seems like it's still here. Is this a build mismatch? Or, I mean, you just talked about execution. Do you want to be 2-base Muta against this?
It's very strange. When I practice 2-base Muta, sometimes I feel like, at times it's really amazing. I feel ahead, I defend the attack brilliantly, and everything works out. But it's a very double-edged sword type of thing. If your defense is a little bit off, everything is ruined, and there's no way of coming back. So
I'm not misremembering, right? It's been pretty T-sided in this, like that specific build matchup this tournament, right? I don't feel like I've seen a Zerg pull off the 2-base Muta against Terran yet, have we?
I don't think we've seen a 2-base Muta actually defend this timing attack just yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it was happening a lot in Life versus Innovation, and Life was struggling with that as well. As we do know that Innovation went on to take that series. And so, well done once again to Bbyong. He gets one step closer, another round. He earns $3,000 and 400 WCS points, but he's not done yet. We'll see him in day number 3 in the round of 8. In the meantime, we are halfway done with our matches for day number 2 here at the Season 9 Championships. We want to also remind you guys that if you're having fun, make sure to check out the additional content over at the Score Esports app on Android and iOS. And it's a good way to just get to know the players a little bit more. If they're doing interviews with some of the talent as well, you get to see some extra bonus content, so that way you guys can satisfy all your StarCraft 2 needs. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Hero, the king of IEM, versus Cure from Junior Green Wings. What's going to happen next? Find out right after this.
All of your StarCraft 2 needs.
Yeah.